Hello, folks. Um, well, I don't know if anybody's gonna see this. Like, my last video got 1 view. So here's for you, whoever you are, you one person. Um, One person awesome enough to watch my video. Anyway, like, I've still been reading that same book about the classical traditions and America. And so, yeah, it's very clear that everybody at the time of Columbus knew that uh, America was the underworld and Eden and the fairyland and hell and Elysium and the Hesperides and all these things. Um, but you know, I don't know. It still blows my mind. I got to return it to the library tomorrow because it's like an interlibrary loan book, which there's no renewals. And I know that it costs $601 for the ebook of it, but I'm probably going to, it's called like European Images of America and the Classical Tradition, I believe. And so it has a bunch of different scholars, different professors and stuff, experts writing about things within that topic. It's a series of different articles. Um, so it's about like 300 pages. I don't know, 400 pages. I don't know. But yeah, it's probably at least like 400 pages. But it's online. Like you can read it, most of it in Google Books. Like they have like, it's like a quote unquote preview. So they remove some pages from it. But if you do, if especially if you get an interlibrary loan, you should be able to get it from the library for free. I think I'm in the Santa Cruz County Library System, so they uh, borrowed it from UC Santa Cruz here, which had it in their science library. So, but yeah, I highly recommend like the first half of it, or I would say, um, well, especially the book by Rom. I think it's James Rom, and then, or the article by James Rom, and then the one by Moretti. I think it's a woman named surname Moretti, and they both really expose a lot of it. I mean, neither of them go far enough to say that there was pre-Columbian contact, but at least they seem, and especially Rom seems open to the idea, and he's definitely saying like everybody believed that there was land over there. They believed America existed before they discovered it. So it's like the theory that like, well, maybe either it was just a great guess, or because that's the idea, is they claim it was just a great guess because that they knew the earth was round. And that's like one of the worst parts of this, is like it's such a clusterfuck of ways that the modern elites have just destroyed the human brain. Um, is that they, on the one hand, they try to pretend Columbus was the first one to ever come to America across the ocean, the first person to come here since the Bering, Beringia melted or whatever, or since the Beringian land bridge was submerged like 10,000 years ago. So, but there's lots of evidence of people coming here since then. And so so that's like, one major brainwash that they've managed to, like, I mean, it's not hard to brainwash people who don't care what the truth is anyway, because most people don't give a fuck anyway. They're like they'd rather believe in some bullshit because that's all they know. But there's at least maybe a few people that give a shit what the truth is. I mean, who knows what's the proportion? I feel like maybe it's higher here in the West that people are more brainwashed. And if you go to like the jungle or something, and you have more people that have retained their common sense. But here you'll have the highest proportion of people that are willing to just die because that, they'll do anything, drink the Kool-Aid because the experts told them to. Um, so, but then, to combine that, so then it's like this claim, like in James Rom's, uh, article, it really focuses on, or both of them really focus on like the arguments against it, and basically a lot of it was religious, that there was, people saying like, well, if we admit that like all the ancients came to America and knew about America and everything, then that's like saying that non-Christians can do stuff and that we're only now catching up to them. So that's like not good, if you're a person who's dishonest and wants to promote Christianity in dishonest ways. Obviously, you don't want to admit that like pagans came to America before you did, um, by sea. I mean, they could say like, I mean, that's like the modern thing that they have is that's supports that is like, oh well, of course they could walk across a land bridge, but that's it. Nobody knew how to do anything more advanced than walking until Christianity came along, and then we learned how to make a boat and float the boat and float it across the water and everything. Um, so that's pretty fucked up. But like, it's a lot more fucked up, or it's, I don't know, it's at least as fucked up, and arguably much more, that they've convinced us that people were flat earthers at that time, or that, that people, um, because that's like the story. It's like, okay, before Columbus, everybody was like, hey, what are we doing here? Do we even exist, man? Oh my gosh, the earth must be flat, and oh man, the ocean must be full of monsters, and we just can't go in it. And then Columbus came along, and Columbus crossed across the ocean. He's like, there aren't monsters. Actually, he did say there were monsters, I think, or he said there was sirens or some shit. And then, but he said, oh, actually, I reached America, this other land, and actually the earth is round. And people were like, oh my God, the earth is round? Holy sheep shit. And then they just like, were so excited for this great knowledge that this Christian guy had given to them, that none of the pagans, of course, had known, because, of course, the pagans, are just idiots like Aristotle and Plato. They're not geniuses like Christian people supposedly are. Um, yeah, I don't know. I hate Christianity. I really do. Like, I know there's people who are Christians who are good people in spite of that. And hey, maybe there's even people who are good people because of Christianity, because somehow they just caught the good part of it, the kind of like love your neighbor part, and they actually went with it and did that. But you don't see those very much. No, most of the people that are hardcore Christians is because they're like, well, we're saved, everybody else fucked, and abortion, murder, and uh, and they really act like a lot of Christians, I think, like they still believe that Christians have had a good impact in the world, that like everywhere that Christians have gone, it's actually been a good thing, when the Christians came to Mexico and Peru and wiped out almost the entire population, burned every single book of the whole continent, except a few that were hidden from them. Because there was thousands of books in America, American books in American languages, and the Christians burned them all. But yet Christians still say, oh, well, it was good because we stopped them from human sacrificing, which of course they believe the conquistadors, you know, obviously false like claims about that, where they claim, oh yeah, we saw them pull out this dude's heart. I mean, we were standing but it's like actually the claim that they say that they saw somebody cut out a heart, where they even admitted that they were watching it, was 2 miles away. So I mean, I guess they could have a binocular or whatever, like a, you know, looking thingy with the captain has, like to zero in. But even still, like, are they really gonna see a heart being cut out of a body? Plus, how the fuck are you gonna cut a heart out of a body? You have to cut through the rib cage. Why would you want to do that? Like, that would be so difficult. Um, and how could you do that? I mean, I guess you could say, they say that generally it can't be done. Like in modern times, they have to use like a chainsaw to do that. Can't be done. Otherwise, it will break any other knife. So, you could claim that maybe they could have done it with an ancient obsidian sword thing that was all serrated and whatever, and maybe it somehow would have worked. I don't fucking know, but it's like, to go on that evidence, it's just like the evidence of somebody who says, like, well, they come back from some girl's house and they say, yeah, I raped her, killed her, but it was because she was trying to rape and kill me first. I swear it. And all you have to go is this guy who admits he just killed her. And, it's obvious he had more power and weapons than her. But he claims, oh, I had to do it because she was going to do this terrible thing. If you believe that, then it's like you're worthless to humanity basically at best, because you can't, if you can't discern, that's the thing. It's like people act like they're innocent and like they're moral people, but yet they accept things, they accept like demonization of other people without any evidence. No, that makes you evil. Like, it's like all the people that went along with like the witch hunts and whatever in Europe, Salem and stuff, like they could say, "Oh, we didn't know. They told us there was witches. That's what we heard." No, dude, if you're going along with a witch hunt and you don't have any actual evidence, but you're pretending you know something, then that's evil. So anyway, that's fucked up. But then it's like they say that the earth, that they try to convince us that Columbus was the one who proved the earth was round. Or they say like that's like the first thing that I learned, like I think when I was a little kid, and it was like Columbus Day, and they didn't know if the earth was round or not. And Columbus was the first to prove it, right? So that's how it's treated. And then later, in high school, you learn about whoever the fuck Copernicus, or I don't know, you might learn about actual people who were earlier who knew full well that the earth was round. I mean, the fact is, all throughout history, the earth was known to be round. There's no respected scientist in history that ever said the earth was flat. There's not. Going back to Plato, Plato was 500 BC.